Senator Rand Paul claims to believe that we need a new vaccine. That's exactly what we need according to Rand, a new one. And Joe Biden's not doing enough to give us a new vaccine. Oh, that pesky Biden, he just won't give us more vaccines. He needs to cut more red tape, says Rand Paul. Let's listen to him talk before I fact check some of his obvious lies.
The numbers of viral infections per day have moved regardless of what man has tried to do. Other than the vaccine was working pretty well in May of April, but now the vaccine isn't working so well and the virus is escaping it. So the one thing they could do, they're not doing, and that is we should allow for a new vaccine to be introduced. They have it waiting, but they're not doing anything to introduce the new vaccine.
Why would they not introduce a new vaccine?
You know, that's a good question. I think, well, maybe they bought a lot of the old one. They haven't used it up yet, and maybe they're trying to be frugal. Maybe somebody has something invested in the old one, but the old one isn't working so well. It probably does reduce your risk of severe hospitalization still and death, but it's not really fighting off the virus at a level where we really could change the trajectory. In April and May of this year, we got down to less than 10,000 cases a day. We did that when the first vaccine was very, very effective. When we got the Delta variant, now that it dominates, the vaccine isn't as effective as it was. And we have a new vaccine. It's sitting there. We approve a new vaccine for the flu. They criticize Trump endlessly for, why does he do the vaccine? We got a vaccine within 1 year. And why aren't they doing anything to introduce a new vaccine or to get the red tape out of the way? Let's get the new vaccine out and see if that helps everyone.
It's a good point. The guy who made a living getting rid of red tape got rid of it. He gets no credit for it. Now they can't seem to do anything similar now that we're in the middle of it. You alluded to it, Senator, the fact that things that we did in 2019 don't match the reality of where we are in 2021. Well, one man's been there the entire time.
He said in April and May of this year, we got down to 10,000 cases a day. That was part of his reasoning for explaining why he thinks the vaccine works so well and why we need a new one.
In April and May of this year, we got down to less than 10,000 cases a day. We did that when the first vaccine was very, very effective.
The only problem is he's not actually telling the truth. In April and May, we got down to 10,000 cases a day. Well, April 1st, 2021, we were nowhere near 10,000 cases a day. After the vaccine rolled out, we were at 77,000 cases a day and about a 65,000 case average. Well, what about at the end of the month? At the end of the month, we had a day of a little over 58,000 cases and a 7-day average of around 50,000. So nowhere in April did we hit that 10,000 mark that Rand Paul lied about on Fox News.
In April and May of this year, we got down to less than 10,000 cases a day. We did that when the first vaccine was very, very effective. When we got the Delta variant, now that it dominates, the vaccine isn't as effective as it was. And we have a new vaccine. It's sitting there.
The way he made it talk, it just sounded like we were crushing it. Yeah, it was just like under 10,000 cases a day, April and May. Let's look at May. Pretty much the entire month we actually weren't there. But to his credit, for the last 2 days, we did hit under 10,000 cases, but the 7-day average was still not even close. So I know Rand Paul really wants to sell this new vaccine really bad, but we weren't hitting under 10,000 cases a day in April and May. We hit it 2 days at the very end of May. Not at all in April and most of May. And I want to just point out something real quick before I move on. On April 30th of this year, I showed you there were around 58,000 cases that day. On April 30th in 2020, there were 30,000 cases. At the end of August in 2020, there were around 33,000 cases. And at the end of August in 2021, there were around 160,000 cases. I guess congratulations for dipping down a little bit lower in June, but I find it hilarious that nobody even considers summer into the equation. It's just like roll the vaccines out in spring, and then let's just take credit for the next couple months regardless of what happens, regardless of how high it goes like in Israel and Singapore, and regardless of how low it goes like it almost always eventually will, because pretty much every graph in the world at some point comes down. But apparently that doesn't go in Rand Paul's little pea-brained head, because he really wants you to rush this vaccine out. Cut the red tape, he says. I hope they do, and I hope they test it on Rand Paul first.
And we have a new vaccine. It's sitting there. We approve a new vaccine for the flu. They criticize Trump endlessly for, why does he do the vaccine? We got a vaccine within 1 year, and why aren't they doing anything to introduce a new vaccine or to get the red tape out of the way? Let's get the new vaccine out and see if that helps everyone.
It's good.
What more red tape do you really want them to cut, bro? Is the PrEP Act not enough? That that says during an emergency that vaccine manufacturers are shielded from any financial liability for side effects, injuries, and deaths? Is that not enough? Operation Warp Speed, where Donald Trump funneled $18 billion to vaccine manufacturers, and then on top of that bought hundreds of millions of doses for them? This is the greatest business model in human history. 1, get subsidized and funded by the government. 2, get your product bought by the government. 3, mandate your product and essentially make it illegal not to take it or kick people out of their career if they don't take it. 4, accept zero financial liability for any side effects, injuries, and deaths for the vaccine that you warp speeded out in public years ahead of the fastest ever rush to public vaccine. And 5, get all the biggest social media corporations, tech corporations, mainstream media and television conglomerates, and the people who control nearly all communication and information vehicles in the world, get them on your side so they will censor, silence, delete, ban books, and cut off any information, even if they're truthful, accurate, and honest. Cut them off if they go against your product, agenda, and narrative. Evil genius. Greatest business model ever.
And let's get the new vaccine out and see if that helps. It's good.
And I'm not saying they're controlled opposition, but it's really starting to seem like it when Rand Paul is slobbering over a new vaccine. Donald Trump seems like he's on a never-ending media tour to tell you how great Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and Moderna are, how he saved the world from the Spanish flu.
You add the fact that I was the one, and this administration was the one that came up with a vaccine, which is going to save the world, okay? It's going to save. We would be, I think, worse than 1917, where 50 to 100 million people died.
I think we'd have a Spanish flu situation like in 1917. I really do. I believe that. And where, maybe 100 million people, 50 million, 100 million people like that.
And even that he thinks there wouldn't have been protests if he were president because everybody would have wanted to get in line. Trump vaccine.
At the same time, some people don't want to take it. And, when I was president, you didn't have this problem with people not wanting to take it. They don't take it because they don't trust Biden, and they don't trust the Biden administration. When I was president, you didn't have people protesting the vaccine. If you just think back, everybody wanted to get it, and we were giving out over 1 million shots a day. We had that thing rocking.
3 great vaccines done in less than 9 months. They said it would take at least 5 years and it wouldn't be successful. And this was tremendously successful. But if you remember, when I was there, we were doing a lot. We were doing 1.1 million a day, and we had a very small ramp up. I used the military; they were doing a fantastic job. The incredible thing is, we didn't have mandates. Everybody wanted to take the vaccine because I think they trusted me or something. It has to do with trust of Biden. And now you see all of these people that don't want to take it. So many people. And you have the mandate situation. We didn't have a mandate because people were rushing to take it. It's very interesting, and I think it's a lack of trust.
I actually thought Rand Paul was different, but I guess I was wrong. I guess we have no friends in this party. I guess they're all just gonna sit there, lie to us like Rand Paul, and use their lies as justification to push a new pharmacy product in our face, because that's exactly what we need, a new one, right? If you can't even stop the mandates for this product, why don't you slow down, Rand Paul? You guys funnel money to Big Pharma. Both parties get lobbied by Big Pharma. You guys print trillions of dollars like psycho-socialists, allow our country to get overrun, and then say, yeah, I'm against mandates. I mean, of course I can't even barely stop these mandates and, but let's get new products. That's what we need, Back in June, I said they're going to use variants to bring back lockdown tyranny in the winter when the formerly known as flu season sets in. What do you know? It's the winter, aka the formerly known as flu season, and there's a variant which is spurring new lockdowns. How did I know that months in advance? The same reason I knew in 2019, medical freedom is under attack in America right now. Unfortunately, most conservatives don't care, and most liberals don't realize universal health care means total government control over the health industry, which will soon include mandatory injections if both sides sleep. This was months before the lockdown or the pandemic. I know this stuff because they pretty much just tell you and then call you a conspiracy theorist if you read what they write and listen to what they say. You have Rand Paul lying about cases in April and pointing to a slight dip in the summer cases as proof that the vaccine temporarily worked, and a new variant, and in some cases a rise in cases in certain parts in the winter, as justification to bring more tyranny, more shots, and more human restrictions. I'm not saying this is the exact same as other respiratory illnesses, because I don't think it is, but when you roll a product out around summer and take take credit for normal seasonal trends, and then a new variant comes around winter when seasonal sickness always spikes, it's starting to look like an infinity loop to anyone with half a brain, which apparently doesn't include Rand Paul, Donald Trump, who said COVID's raging out of control. And I didn't make this video to make Democrats look good and Republicans look bad. I will never vote for the Democratic Party again. I think Joe Biden is the worst president ever. I think it's clear that Democrat governors are more corrupt, have no regards to safety, personal freedom, or anything. I'm a registered Republican, but I'm embarrassed with what we have to offer. I don't want Joe Biden to win in 2024, and I won't vote for him, but it's creeping me out that the #1 frontrunner is Donald Trump, who ran under the slogan "Drain the Swamp," and one of the first things he did was take $1 million from Pfizer for his inauguration, and then put a pharmacy lobbyist at the head of HHS, which, by the way, the HHS has a few branches that you might have heard. The FDA, the CDC, the NIH, those are all branches of the HHS. And Donald Trump put a pharmacy lobbyist at the top of that. When grilled on Fauci, it sounds like he's more concerned with being in the in crowd and being friends with Fauci than he is being honest about him.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Why didn't you fire
certainly
Fauci?
Hope not.
Why didn't you fire Fauci? Everybody hates Fauci.
Well, it didn't matter because I did pretty much the opposite of what he would suggest.
But you still had him.
No, he's been there a long time. I actually got along with him very well. Call me Tony. He goes, "Call me Tony, sir."
Call me Tony.
He was a much better promoter than he was a doctor.
But you didn't fire him.
No, I didn't fire him. He said, let them come in from China. Months after I closed it, I
Don't
said,
you
no,
think
I'm
you
not
should,
going
in
to.
hindsight, you should have sacked him? Come on.
He had much less influence in my administration.
Optics.
Well, look, I mean,
One-
Tony,
one more,
wait,
one more.
wait 1 second. Tony Fauci said, masks are no good. Don't wear masks.
I
now
know,
he's
we
a,
all know that.
Now he's a
But everybody
radical
wants to know
masker.
why you didn't fire him.
Why? And he's been there a long time.
And when asked about China and if he thought they did this on purpose in any way, he sounded like a pathetic dog with his tail between his legs. Take a listen.
Did China weaponize COVID and then it escaped from Wuhan lab?
I think what happened is China looked, and I was the first one of the early ones to say it came from Wuhan, that came from the lab.
Chinese virus.
And everyone went crazy. You know, I never forget, I said that. I didn't think it was such a big statement. People went crazy, the left. They went totally crazy when I said it. So the big question is, did China do this on purpose or not? I think probably they didn't, okay?
They did not.
I think they did not do it on purpose. It certainly fit their agenda pretty well in many ways because it knocked us out, it knocked out the world, and it knocked them also, however. But they were able to control it. One of the worst things that happened is they kept it in Wuhan and the rest of the world, but it didn't go to the rest of China for the most part. It didn't go to the...
But you could fly.
So they put a wall, so to speak.
But you don't think they weaponized COVID?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't
All right.
think so.
Why didn't
I
you
would
fire
certainly
Fauci?
hope not.
Why didn't you fire Fauci?
So yes, the Democratic Party is abysmal and there's no reason to vote for them. But it's time for people to break out of the left, right, let's go Brandon, haha, we're beating you. The left is so dumb, we're so cool, we're the best, we're fighting for freedom. Yeah, we're gonna beat them with Trump. No, we're not. Even the most ethical and cool people on our side completely keep selling us out, shamelessly, and they keep getting away with it because we keep clapping like seals and demand that they do it again. It's time to stand up for ourselves. It's time to be honest, not just about the other side, but about our side, or else we're going to be caught on this infinity loop of corruption, and I don't think America can really withstand many more years of it. Thank you for listening and considering. God bless you. Have a beautiful day, and I'll be back with new videos soon. If you like this hat, godblesshats.com. You could pick up one for yourself for Christmas or whatever. Stayintouchwithme.com is my free email list. My book is finished. I'm about to publish it in the next couple months. Be on the lookout for that.